Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. All things Middle-earth here with a video on the 5 light side and 5 shadow side commanders you should farm starting out in the Heroes of Middle-earth. So stay tuned, it's coming up in just 1 second. Okay, before we jump in, I want to give a huge shout out to everyone who was on stream today. We streamed for about 10 hours and some awesome conversations about these different characters on the light and dark side. As well as huge shout out to everyone who's been putting resources together for many, many weeks. This game has been out in the beta or in the limited territory launch, and people have been gathering information, putting stuff together so we have a baseline to start with and look at. So seriously, huge shout out to everyone who's been a part of that, because this is by no means compiled just today in a 10-hour period. We definitely had some starting points. So shout out to everyone who's been involved with that. But I want to go through these light side characters as quickly as possible so you can just know right away who do I need to go for so you don't waste any time. But I want to explain a little bit why these squads or these characters work together as a squad. And I'm going to go through them in the order that you should be unlocking them. So starting out, number 1 is going to be Strider. By the way, as we go through these, I'm going to put up on the screen where they are unlocked, if they are unlocked in an area. A lot of these you'll find out as you're playing. You're just going to be given as you're playing by means of like quests that they walk you through, or just as you progress through the story in the light or shadow campaign, you're just going to be given these commanders. So I'll show you where they're farmed, but some of them you'll see that you'll just have them already. So just kind of, you don't need to worry about farming multiple stars on them right now. Just get them unlocked, get the team together. But anyway, starting out here is going to be Strider. Strider is one, again, you're going to get just quest after quest with Strider shards and can definitely upgrade him a lot. Again, right now we're just going to focus on getting him unlocked. Strider is going to be kind of plug and play in the squad. The game is going to tempt you, and don't do it. The game is going to tempt you to run Strider as a leader with the There Is Still Hope and the Road to Rivendell squad, which is Strider and the 4 hobbits. Now, as much fun as it would be, and I wish it would work, it just isn't going to be the best thing. From my understanding, people have tried this at much higher gear levels and much higher just character levels than I have even had access to yet, and it doesn't really pan out. So maybe that'll change down the road, but right now, don't do the Strider lead here. You're going to use him as a damage dealer, kind of to plug into the squad. He has just a basic attack that has a just 100% damage, and then if the target has a Bane, which is a negative status effect, he's going to do more damage there. He has a burn attack, which attacks 3 times for 55% damage and inflicts burning. The burn on their next turn, they take damage, and again, this can last up to several rounds with more turn duration here, as well as dealing more damage to Nazgul, which there aren't any Nazgul currently unlocked or like playable in the game. But again, I would assume that'd be something that would come into play later. So anyway, we've got a burn there with a triple strike, and following it up, really the cool thing about his kit is heroic charge, attack all enemies for 100% damage, and the damage just goes up, and he also gets crit chance with it. So increased damage, crit chance, and the stamina cost is reduced to 4 instead of 5, which means the cooldown for it really is decreased. So a very good ability there. He's gonna kick butt. He's gonna do a lot of damage. He's a great character, I think, and I'm very happy that I pushed him as far as I have, and I'm gonna push him farther. So that is Strider. He's the first one you're gonna get for the squad. Next up is gonna be Eowyn. Now Eowyn, I'll put where she's farmable up on the screen, but she's gonna be given to you right off the bat, so don't worry about getting her star count up. Now I'm gonna try and make this short and sweet, because if I sit here and talk through every commander's skills, we'd be here for a little while, and I think for a lot of us, you're just like, tell me who to use. So I'm gonna try and do that. So the first thing, the big thing here, is our leadership ability. It is for Rohan squad members. They're going to gain increased critical chance during assists and counterattacks. Just remember that, assists and counterattacks. And we're going to look through and kind of quickly find how many things we can see that, proc these assists and counterattacks. Again, the critical chance goes up here. One of the big ones is here on this ability, Valiant Protector. At the 2nd level, you call an ally with the highest damage to assist. So when you use this, it's going to ideally be a Rohan ally, which you can set it up that way. A Rohan ally is going to assist. It's going to be already a heavy damage dealer, and they're going to have a better chance to land a critical hit. So you're trying to stack as many things as possible with her like that do that. But again, we could break through every single ability, but we'd be here for half an hour. So Eowyn's going to be your lead for this squad, not Strider. You're going to use her with this Rohan core that we're going to talk about in just a second. Moving right along, and the next character you're probably going to unlock is going to be Eothain. I'll put where he's farmable up on screen, but I believe he's one that's pretty much given to you as well, but he's a very, very early farm. And again, Eothain's very tanky. He has a provoke ability, which basically means that when they have provoke, they're targeted, but when they get hit, the provoke goes away. So it's like a taunt that goes away if you get hit. So Eothain, when he gets leveled up, he starts getting very tanky. I fought a few of these guys in arena. They're very annoying. They take a while to take down. So He's got some other cool stuff in his kit. Again, we've got a attack all enemies, and he grants counterattack to himself and a random ally. Even at this level, grant counterattack to 3 random allies at level 2. So again, he's granting the counterattack buff. So then when you know your characters are attacked, they counterattack, and if they're Rohan, they're going to get that increased critical chance. So you see, there's a lot of abilities that start going together here, but he is going to be the 3rd member of this light side squad. Next up, in closing out the Rohan kind of trifecta here, is going to be Eomer. Eomer is a little bit later farm. He's actually farmable in the arena store, but he is farmable by quests if you just complete a quest for him. I'll show you where you can find those really quickly if you don't know. But at the very main page, this quest icon right here, there is a quest that gives you 15 Eomer shards to unlock him. And the last thing you have to do is just complete the Shadow Mission Chapter 2, and it's the Mission 3. So you need to be a little bit along to get him. It did take us a little pushing to get there, but it's very, very doable. So unlock Eomer like that, and he's going to fit nicely in your squad. Again, I'd encourage you to go through and look at all these skills yourself, because they can take a while to go through, but it's very good to know how they all work. Again, he's got a basic attack here that once upgraded grants turn meter. So if he's ever assisting with, you know, all the assists and counterattacks going on, his basic attack is going to grant himself turn meter. So that's very good. He has another one here where he summons a Rohan soldier and calls a random Rohan ally to assist. So again, calling someone to assist, more crit chance there. He has Brotherly Devotion, which is really cool. He has on his turn, every time he heals himself and Eowyn 4% of his max health, which isn't major, but it's a little heal there. And then as this goes up in level, he's going to get a chance to get assistance. So whenever an ally uses a basic attack, assist that ally and remove 1 stack of assistance. So this at level 5 maxes out, so he has guaranteed assistance. He gets a stack on his turn. So if you use a basic attack with your Rohan members in the squad, he's always going to assist. And again, you guys get it. Lots of critical damage going out. Again, more damage, taking your enemies out faster. It's a good thing. So he rounds out the kind of trifecta of the Rohan group. And the last member of our light side squad here is going to be Pippin. Now, Pippin is probably, I think, the best hobbit and the only light side healer we have access to so far. So you're going to get him. I believe he's farmable in the guild campaign in chapter 1.5. I'll put that on the screen to be sure. But you farm him there. There is a pack for hobbits. I don't think it's worth it, though. So if you're considering the hobbit pack, I wouldn't go crazy on it. Again, if you just do not care, it's like, sure, unlock it and just unlock Pippin. Don't even summon the other ones. And you'll have him right away. So you could start farming something else sooner. But I don't think it's worth how much it would actually take to get him unlocked. So again, I bought the Hobbit bundle. Kind of a waste of $20, to be honest. So get him, though. He's got a heal. As you level it up, it increases, 300 heal at level 3. It's going to do 500 heal, and it's to all squad members. So a very decent heal. He'll just try and be in the background, try not to get killed, and heal up your Rohan trio, as well as Strider, who's doing some decent damage himself. So that is going to be your starting light side team, which for the most part are going to be all men. So a lot of them are going to be able to compete in certain challenges together. Obviously not Pippin here because he's a hobbit. There are some other uses for the squad outside of just playing through light side. There can also be some uses in arena with your core Rohan group here. It's, again, Strider is very plug and play, so he can be used anywhere, but it's a good starting squad. The other character who I look to put in here after you progress a little bit is going to be Halbarad. So whether you unlock him by actually farming him, or if you buy his bundle, which would be one that I've heard people say is probably one of the more valuable ones because he's a later farm. So if you do think you want to spend, I think it's $20 or $30. If you do want to spend a little bit and get Halbarad, he would plug into your Pippin spot, and that'd be that. So if you get that, you can do it. Again, for me, I am level 23 and have played through at least the equivalent of this amount of stars on my campaigns currently, and have not had that bundle pop up yet. So that's kind of a long ways to wait for that. But if it does pop up, I'm probably going to get it because Halbarad is like probably one of the other best like plug and play characters in the game. He's tanky, he has taunts, he has heals. Like that's pretty much what you want in that guy. So Halbarad could be a plug-in here, but for now, these 5 are going to serve you very, very well. Now, moving right along to your shadow side team. Again, I feel like this team is a little bit less cohesive than like the Rohan core. So the light side team, I think, is very, very free to play friendly. You can get them very, very soon. Again, not that you can't. Again, this is a team that I have completely unlocked in the first 10 hours of playing. Some spending did help that process a little bit faster because I sped up my guild energy refreshes and got Ironhide here unlocked sooner, but we'll talk about that in a second. But either way, you're going to start out with Ugluk as your leader. Again, they're going to start you with him, but here is where he is farmable. You're going to run Ugluk. His thing is decent. Every time a Isengard squad member inflicts a Bane, you're going to heal all squad members for 2% of their max health, and that healing goes up very slightly. So the whole squad puts out a decent amount of Banes, which is debuffs. And so as they do that, they just kind of keep slowly healing. So that three, your kind of core trio here, being these three on this side, are going to stay pretty topped off, which is not a bad thing. Ugluk himself, he has some kind of assist things with Mauhur, which again, his name is, I'm kind of butchering, I think. But if he's an ally here, they attack together and deal more damage, and they grant themselves stacks of defensive, so they have chance to block attacks, which is pretty decent. But you start with him. He's solid. He's not going to, go nuts or anything, but I've heard a lot of people very happy with him as a starting leader for the shadow side. Now, like I mentioned, his buddy Mauhur, which is, we're just like going to say it one way, and we're going to say that's how it's said for the rest of time. He, again, you're going to start with him as well on the shadow side, but here's where he's farmable as well. Again, leaping stab. He has, damage and crit chance, increased crit chance per Bane. So there's probably a long-term full Isengard team that really is debuff heavy because they rely on that for heals and increased damage. He does have a little bit of, it's not a heal, but he gets regeneration with Valakura here. So he gets stacks of regeneration, which just heal him a little bit every turn. Here we have Twist the Knife, where he attacks and inflicts slow. And the second level is he calls Ugluk to assist. So they both have kind of an assist or like a dual attack with each other. So they work pretty well together. He also has, when he hits a critical hit, he cleanses Banes from himself. So ideally, he'd be hitting criticals once in a while and cleansing those. But again, nothing crazy. They're a good pair. They're a solid pair. So trying to find, characters that have that synergy is a good thing. So those two are going to be your starting two shadow side. Your third one that I'm going to suggest is Dunhar here. Dunhar is farmable right here. I'll put it up on the screen. It's a pretty early farm as well. The big thing for him is going to be his Cruel Medicine ability, which is a heal. So you have heal for 100, and then you add 150, 250, 300, and 400 at the last level. So depending on how far you push him, he's going to have a very, very big heal, and he heals the character with the lowest health, so most wounded character. So if someone's looking a little worse for wear, you can use this and really, bump them back up to a better spot. So he's got the heal. Otherwise, again, he inflicts bleed on his attack, which bleed on their turn, they take a percentage damage based on their max health. So bleeds are pretty solid. Again, debuffs going out. He also here has a heal block on this attack, so more debuffs. So he plays into the debuff thing well with your leadership ability, but the big thing that I like is the heal. He does have just max health gain here as well as focus gain. So again, not crazy. It's not like the most amazing thing in the world, but I think those three work solid. They're putting out Bane, so they're all healing. You have extra heal with Dunhar here, and then there's some synergy between these two, so the damage is decent at the least. The fourth one you're going to get here is Naraz, and you're going to run these probably for a little while, depending on how crazy you are. I'll put it up on the screen where he is farmable. The big thing I like about Naraz, and I think this spot could go to several shadow side characters, but the big thing I like is his Child of Moria ability. You're going to summon a Troll Stonebreaker. It does take some time for this to kind of warm up when you start, so you can't just do it his first turn, but you're going to summon a Troll Stonebreaker. That's kind of the big thing he does. He does have, he grants defensive to himself and 2 random allies to start out, or 3 if you upgrade it, which again, you block the next hits from the enemy attacks. But again, Child of Moria summons this guy right here, this big troll. He's got a basic attack that just, straight damage, nothing crazy. He has an AoE that stuns the target. He has another AoE. Again, good damage, just hits everybody. That's it. It's very simple, but he's big. He's going to take time for them to go through. He's got AoE. He's going to do decent damage. So it's just another character for them to have to mess with. And that kind of gives you 5 in a way once you get that going. So you can kind of use the other guys to hopefully keep him alive or keep some hits off of him. And you'll do those 4 to start out with. Now, the next one you're going to go for in the last one in the Shadow Squad is going to be Gaz Ironhide. I feel like this is the one that everyone talks about, who you have to farm as soon as possible. He's great in arena on defense, plugging him in those areas. A lot of people run like the Rohan core with Gaz Ironhide, and then depending on who you have as a 5th, there are some options. People run Strider sometimes as well, but he's that good where he could be like the only plug-in onto like a pretty much good side team and just be tanky and annoying. Gaz is farmable on the guild campaign 1-7, so it takes a second to get through that and 3-star it, but it is very, very doable. Again, all you gotta do is once you do that is you just click auto win and just do your auto battles and you'll get shards for him. So over several days, you'll unlock him. If you're a lunatic like I am, you can refresh your guild energy with gems. I happen to have a few and I did all refreshes. Actually, I think the refreshes actually reset because I had reset this and it said refills remaining 1. And now it says I have 10 refills. So you could technically get him in one day. This game has been out for 12 hours and I got him. It's not a crazy accomplishment, but I was very happy with it. But again, similar to the other troll guy, he's got just a pretty normal basic attack that's going to deal more damage if they are weaker. So he can finish off characters pretty well with his basic attack. And then he's got 2 AoEs. The first one is going to dispel a boon from each enemy. So if they have any boons or buffs on themselves, he's going to hit them all and dispel them, which is really, really cool. And then the other AoE here, it has to do with mortal allies, so we're not going to worry about that. But pretty much it's just a big damage AoE, and he's very tanky. He's going to be hard to go through, and he fits nicely into this squad. So that is going to be my suggestion for your shadow side starting 5. Now, moving on from here, I'll be doing some more videos on who I think you could kind of start subbing in to make these squads better, or kind of breaking them off into multiple squads as you move on. But the big thing right now is just getting one team for the light side, one team for the shadow side, and focusing there, because there is a bit of a gear crunch once you get a little bit higher. There is a gold crunch, so you don't want to waste resources. Don't do what I did. Again, I kind of played with the hobbits a little bit too much because I wanted to see if they'd work. I did pull another Rohan Wilfrin here. She's kind of a high DPS dealer, like a Rohan attacker. She can work in that Rohan squad too. But again, it's not as necessary, and she doesn't fit as well with the other 3. So it's kind of up to you. If you do happen to get a lucky pull to plug someone else in, but for the most part, the 5 and 5 we talked about keeps it pretty clean. But I did stretch a little bit more and try a few others. I don't think it's going to be a deal breaker for me, but save yourself some time and hassle later and just focus on 5 light side and 5 shadow side. You'll be glad you did. But that is going to do it for me in this video. Again, huge shout out to everyone who's helped put this information together. Just doing a little video format here for those who want to know, who do I farm? Again, let me know down in the comments below if you think these are good starting commanders or who you started with. Maybe you had better luck with someone else. Maybe you don't like these commanders. It's early in the game's life, so at the end of the day, I probably should have said this at the very beginning, but at least I'm saying it now. This kind of all goes without saying that it is early in the game and things are always subject to change. Characters get buffed, characters get nerfed, so what is good today may not be good in a super long time. So hopefully that's very obvious with any game like this. But right now, I think these are like a very solid 5. This is like without buying any packs or anything like that. Again, I'll make videos in the future talking about what packs I bought or didn't buy and why I think some are more worth it than others. But for now, I wanted to get you guys started with just your starting 5 for the dark and light side. So that's going to do it for me this one, and I'll see you all in a future video.